Everybody, Josh Neighbors here on the College Countdown. On today's show, a Sunday edition, should Travis Hunter have won the Heisman? Did he deserve to? Was Ashton Jeanty robbed? That and a whole lot more coming up. At CC Podcast, JN on Twitter, at Josh Neighbors _ as well on Twitter. You guys can find the show wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. I think it's a fascinating question that we're going to answer today. And we've got it as our question of the day. So leave your responses in the comments section. You guys can also tweet at me as well. Like the video, sub to the channel. We're almost at 200 as we're at right now. Once again, the goal is 1,000. You want to monetize the channel, help support this show. We are at 193 right now, so help us get to 200. We appreciate that, and we'll go from 200 to 300. We'll keep this thing moving, keep this thing grinding. We appreciate your all support as we go. So yeah, Travis Hunter wins the Heisman last night. Not too much of a surprise that he was able to do so. Obviously, there's a couple things here. The number one thing was his speech, right? An unbelievable speech, and just the moment he talked about his father, it was really, impressive to see a young man like that. And what I'll tell you is this, from Travis's perspective, because let's give him his credit before we talk about whether, Jeanty was robbed and whatnot. To Travis's credit, this was a guy who was the number one player in the country. He went to Jackson State first. He took a chance on Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders paid it back to him. He put him in positions to succeed. He obviously, made him public and, really helped his image and whatnot. But, Deion said, put your trust in me. He did, and Travis is a star. And at every turn, Deion Sanders supported him. At every turn, Travis Hunter paid it back with his quality in the field. And I thought he was pretty honest with us the entire time, too, just about, last year he had that video he did when he was, I think, in his, pajamas, whatever, talking about, the injuries and kind of going through the entire situation and just everything last year, the season and whatnot. And then this year, delivering on both sides of the ball. An electric athlete through and through. And I think I talked about this on my radio show that I work on here in Arkansas with country singer Justin Moore. He and I were kind of on the same page about this, that this guy was a number one player in the country and made good on that. And that can be challenging sometimes. Obviously, you have a talent and you rank that high for a reason, but there's a lot of pressure. And he delivered, I think, over and over and over again. Really helped elevate that Colorado program and helped them improve and helped a quarterback, get a lot better, I think, and was a star of stars both ways. I know some folks are not pro football focused people, but he was PFF's third highest ranked corner in the country this year. Considering what he did on offense and his snap count, that's really impressive. And so the reason why, if you gave me a vote, I would have voted for Travis Hunter is because of that. I think the two-way nature of it, I'm a huge believer in how violent football is. Football is an incredibly violent sport. It is a sport where you see, almost 100% injury rate, right? How many guys escape, a career in football? They always say at the end of the year, hey, everybody's banged up. How many guys make it out of a career in football uninjured? They just really don't, right? And so to see him do that, to see him this year play a high snap count in a violent sport like football and play as well as he did, I think speaks volumes to the quality of player. And once again, him making good on a whole lot of projection about how good he could be. And so I was incredibly impressed with the performance of Travis Hunter from wire to wire the entire season. A deserving player, no doubt in my mind that this is, that he deserved to win this thing. This gets to a second part of this. And once again, the speech was unbelievable, talking about his dad, and doing it for his father and his father not being able there to watch him and feeling proud that his dad was watching, from prison, right? That is a powerful message that, about family and about connection and about perseverance. And, I think it sends a message it's important to have a strong father figure in life if you can have one, right? But you don't have to have the dad there. You can have a strong mother, and you can have other people in your life step up. And shows the importance of support systems and of independence and what people can do kind of, on their own, even if they are lacking those things, but still the importance of a support system. I think it speaks to all of those things in a positive way. We can talk about, what he's done on his own. We can talk about the people in his life who stepped up to help him. We can talk about all of that stuff kind of I think in a positive light, in the way that he, spoke about his father, who he clearly has a lot of love for. And I thought that was a beautiful moment. To get to the Ashton Jeanty part of this, he was a deserving guy as well. I mean, if you gave him a first place vote, like I wouldn't argue against you. You've got plenty of reason to do so. And to me, it's not always the reason why I'm picking Travis Hunter is because of his not unique accomplishment, because others have done it before, but his modernly unique accomplishment. But here's what I learned. In my time covering combat sports, I learned that in close fights, there's no such thing as a robbery, particularly in boxing. But in mixed martial arts, man, if you have like close rounds and they're tough to score, then it can go, and a fight can go either way. Like nobody really gets robbed. You might feel like a guy won, but if it's a close fight, it's a close fight, right? Like if you feel like, hey, it could have been 6 rounds to 6, it could have been 8 rounds, or it could have been 8 rounds to 6, it could have been 7 to 7, it could have been 8-6 the other way. Nowhere in that range are you really feeling like it's a robbery, right? And so with these two guys, Jeanty's numbers were overwhelming on the season, right? His numbers overall, I mean, you look at what he accomplished and what he did this year at Boise State. It's amazing because he was the focal point of their offense. Teams knew what the game plan was, and he was still consistently the best player on the field. I mean, you look at these totals, the lowest number of yards he had this season was 127 in a game they won by over 40 points. They didn't need him in that game. I know the Georgia Southern 6 TD game is a real thing, but man, that Oregon game, 25 for 192 and 3 scores, and was able to break off some big ones. That was really impressive. This guy was a home run hitter. He was a great between the tackles rusher. He was good at getting outside. I mean, he is a really impressive player because of his size, his strength, his speed. What they relied on him for. 2 fumbles the entire season. They lost them both, but 2 fumbles the entire year for a guy who had 344 carries and averaged over 7 yards a tote. He had 29 rushing touchdowns on the year. He had 1 receiving touchdown as well. And in terms of like scoring output, his last 3 games were some of his worst, but it was a 17-13 win over Wyoming where he ran for 169, 8.9 yards per carry and needed that in a 17-13 win. Oregon State, he was lights out, 37 for 226 and a score in that one, over 6 yards a tote. And then against UNLV in the cold, 32 for 209 and a score, including a 75-yard touchdown run as well. He was explosive, but he had games too where he was good between the tackles. He didn't always need home run shots to be great. Now, he hit a lot of home runs this year, and that's the kind of back he is, and they trust that if they kept hammering the rock with him, eventually they'll hit some home runs, but he could pick it up on 3rd down as well. Really a deserving player, but once again, Travis's accomplishment is unique in a certain way. And so while Ashton was deserving of a Heisman Trophy, and he feels like he might have been robbed, Travis Hunter was deserving in a different way. And so, I think that's the interesting thing about it is with these two guys, there is no wrong answer. I think if you put anybody else, if you voted first place anybody else, I have a problem with that. If you look at the Heisman voting and about who else got first place votes, I think Cam Ward is the only guy I would have accepted actually a first place vote for. So if you wanted to give Cam Ward a first place vote, I don't have a problem with that. I know they're not in the playoff, but what he meant to that team all year round, I thought was really impressive. So I think there's an argument for him. But Dillon Gabriel, best quarterback, most important position on the best team. Sure, whatever. Bryson Daly, that's exciting. It's fun. Cam Scatterbo, I would not have given one to. Shedeur Sanders, I don't know. Tyler Warren, I get it. He was good. Curtis Work, I get it. But no. Kyle McCord, no. Right. So in the end, Travis Hunter ends up getting the victory. And, looking across the country to see, there was only one area where Ashton Jeanty beat out Travis Hunter. That was in the far west. In Northeast, it was Travis. In Mid-Atlantic, it was Travis. In the South, it was Travis. In the Southwest, it was Travis. And in the Midwest, it was Travis. And deserving. I think 100% deserving of it. Ashton Jeanty is a Heisman caliber player, but he got beat out by somebody, in my opinion, who just played because of the way he played in the positions that he played, got the award. I don't even want to say that Travis Hunter played better. So to say Ashton Jeanty was robbed, I think is wrong. And I think for him to feel like he should have won it is totally correct too. But to say it's a robbery would be wrong. To say he was 100% the guy and to say this is a travesty, I don't agree with that because we haven't seen a player like Travis Hunter go both ways and play as well as he did going both ways in a long time. And once again, third highest rated corner according to Pro Football Focus this entire season. And then on the year for him, he was top 6 in receiving yards. His 14 receiving touchdowns put him second in the season, in the entire country. He was 5th in receptions. And then, you talk about yards per catch. There's a lot of guys in there, are higher, but he was consistently targeted and used and was able to make impacts in big games across the entire year. And so I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think you can cry robbery. I don't think you should be able to because it was a close fight. If it had gone either way, I would have said I'm surprised, but I wouldn't have said Ashton Jeanty was undeserving. The guy might break Barry Sanders' record, but while Barry Sanders' record is really impressive and be crazy to beat, what Travis Hunter did was crazy because of the two-way nature of it. So I think in that way, it's not a robbery. I think in that way, it could have gone either way. And in that way, one guy should feel slighted. If Travis Hunter did not win, Jeanty should feel slighted. If Jeanty won, Travis Hunter has a right to feel slighted because you're individual, your self-belief is important, and your own accomplishments, taking pride in that's totally fair as well. Feel like you're the best player in the country. Feel like when they hand out the award for the best player in the country, you should get it. Ashton Jeanty has got football left. He has carried Boise State to a college football playoff appearance. It makes sense that Boise is there. It is great to see in a year where we expanded the playoff, right? We expand the playoff, and Boise State, the original giant killer, the original G5, that team is the team in the CFP representing the group of 5 or group of 4, group of 5, whatever it is, because of his performance. And so I think we should all be happy about that. We should all laud that. Deserving of the Doak Walker Award. Glad he got the Maxwell as well. But, Travis Hunter just as deserving. And, I think you could argue a little bit more. And I'm not going to say he's more deserving. If I had a vote for most outstanding player, I would say what Travis did was just a pinch more outstanding to me than what Jeanty did. You all may disagree. Let me know your all's feelings in the comment section. Like the video, sub the channel. Please do all those things. Leave your comments. Find us on Twitter at JoshNeighbors_, at CC Podcast JN. Follow us in those places. Talk to you all mañana.